we're going to attempt the L shape.
I took this up before, that's why it's coming up so easy.
So what, you're just essentially lifting it for right now?
Mm-hmm.
Before you cut it? Okay, so what we're doing right now is just removing the top. We'll be back. So we're loosening the bottom part as well, just so we can take out this one, what would you say, 1.5 by 1.5? I don't know. Okay, so we decided not to take this railing out right away. My husband is going to climb up on top and cut it, so we're going to leave this one railing here for additional support. Okay, so he has it all lined up. So it's 23 inches from the back corner to the front corner. And so he measured that all the way across. And he's going to stop at the third board at the back.
Yeah.
Right. So what are you doing next? You're removing
These one by one.
Okay.
So
Okay, so this is so far where we've gotten. We are in our L
really
shape.
rough.
And which one did you find easier? The top bunk where you did
Bottom,
one?
because I wasn't climbing.
Taking out the wood. Do you find it was easier to take out one large piece versus...
I always find several small pieces. The other thing we're going to have to do here is this is kind of droopy. So we're going to have to figure out a way to reinforce it. I'm going to put some L brackets in these little pieces of wood here so it holds it tight to this piece on the wall.
Oh, let me get a... There we go. So you're going to put L brackets in the corner of each one of those beams.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
And the purpose of that would be...
Probably 1, 2 to hold it up a little bit closer to the base.
Stability. Yeah. And you're going to also have to, if you want to still use your light, you'll have to drill a hole into the bottom board.
Which we could actually do right now. So we got to here. Here is roughly removed. All these edges need to be sanded and finished, which is fine. We can do that. We reinstalled the light. Click, click. Which wasn't hard. If you look, we just used whatever this is. I think that's 1 inch. Little rotor right through there. And the wires just clip into these little clip things. No if you unplug these thick ones, it will turn off the lights to your entire trailer. Found that out kind of the hard way. These nails are sticking up, but it really isn't going to matter because this is going to kind of be a sandwich on top of this, so it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
These guys, tiny little L brackets here. I wouldn't have leaned on this before I put the L brackets in. So when this is down and done, we'll just pull this out of the way for a second. And we pop everything down here. This is my little workbench. There's a few things that'll kind of reinforce this. These all being tacked together will help. And we'll kind of probably put some extra nails in here to keep this thing down, okay? This is going to be all one piece. This is not meant for sleeping. This is meant for
storage.
Probably put another
Okay.
another 1.5 board in here in the middle because there's a bigger gap for some reason. And we'll just use the spares that we cut off from here. Also, we're going to do the same thing on the bunk. Like if I take these out, this has too much give in the middle of it. I get when you put a mattress on there, it's not as big a deal. But I think we'll just throw a couple extras in there because why not?
So like this one's an extra right now?
That'll be an extra, so when it's squared up, it'll go about here. We'll cut it off flush.
Got it.
Make it look nice.
Are we good right now? How easy would you say that is? Would you recommend doing it? Would you recommend leaving the bunks?
Okay, pretty easy. Here's why. All I had was this little circular saw thing. I have a table saw outside that I'll use to make the exact cuts when I need to. So we'll use that. Drill, obviously, we'll need a drill. This was cool. Just a little multi-tool here. And we'll be able to use this too to kind of sand later when we need to. You can make cuts with this blade, or you can make cuts with the little square blade.
Make sure you have a ruler. We didn't have one that was quite long, so if you have a longer one, I would definitely recommend that. Have tape so you can tape down the wires so they are out of the way when you are cutting.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is where we are. We still have a lot of work to do, sort of. And yeah, we'll check in tomorrow.
Okay, so we're gonna do this baseboard here, which I marked up a bit, but we'll clean up.
I can clean that off.
So first thing we need to do is get the length. I cut this way too long just on purpose because we're gonna angle cut this way so that this kind of forms like a 90-degree angle with the joint here. So I'm just gonna go cut those now.
Okay. Yep.
So there's our cut. So we angled it just using like a rotor saw. We're leaving this piece in for extra support. So this is going to get flush to this. When we're done here, we'll probably cover this in the paper that we have.
The peel and stick, yep.
Peel and stick. And yeah, that's pretty much that.
Okay, so we took one of the pieces that we cut from the beams and we decided to put it in between these two to help give this more stability. We were using finishing nails, but we decided to use screws because they seem to hold better and they're a lot easier to get in unless you have a nail gun.
Oh, hi there. So basically we kind of got this stage done here. What I ended up doing with these top boards is just countersinking screws in because we're going to finish it with like a wallpaper type thing on top anyway. So no one's going to see any of this. We started with a nail. It's hard to kind of hammer down all the way without support. And every time I hit this, I was worried I was going to knock the whole shelf down. So the screws are a lot easier. We'll try to pull this out or cut it off or something. But basically, this is pretty decent right now. Not going anywhere. Again, nobody's going to sleep on this, but I'm putting a decent amount of weight and pressure on this, and it's not really giving, which is fine. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So we'll see. Next thing we're going to do is probably try to tack this little piece of baseboard up here.
Okay, so my husband decided to put the peel and stick up first before the baseboard because he wants to be able to I guess, wrap it all the way down.
At least start it on the way down so it doesn't, so you get a nice edge instead of having to put it up to the edge once the baseboard's on.
Got it. So we're going to try it that way.
Okay, so we got all this done, which is great. Some mistakes we made. I found it very hard to cut this evenly all the way across.
What do you mean, what evenly? The bunk itself
the
or
entire bunk, just because you're kind of moving, you're climbing on this, you're hopping off, you're moving on this, you're resuming the line. Some of it's made with a cutter, some of it's made with a saw, and it just winds up being like a little bit messy. So what we ended up doing was in the little gaps between the 1.5 by 1.5s, we put boards kind of flush all the way across.
So like this
so
one.
So that we'd have this, we could mount to this. So kind of an extra step. If you make a straight cut, you'll probably be okay anyway. But also the boards are better when they're kind of in backing it, because then you have stuff to stick wood glue to and you can kind of nail everything in anywhere that you want. Probably mistake number 2 was this angle cut here looked better when it was kind of made up, but then once we started drilling it in, it shifted a little, and also I might suck at angle cuts, so we'll probably just kind of put some sort of filler in here, or, you know, I don't know what we're going to do. It's going to look better than that. Stuff like that, honestly, kind of doesn't really bug me all that much. I've seen Forest River mess up more stuff than that. Also going to frame these guys with the same paper we used, which is up here. I don't know if you got a close-up of the paper. But basically, it's pretty decent, and it's $12 on Amazon.
Yeah, it was $12.
It's not, again, perfect, but it's fine.
These two beams over here, turn around, we're not removing. We're going to leave them up, and then we're going to wrap them in the peel and stick. And then I'll probably put like little hooks on there so we can hang things like our hats or also, whatever else needs to be hung. So the top is finished. We do have to paint the baseboards, but essentially the top is finished.
Okay, so on day 1 of this, or hour 1, I was trying to cut nails with the blade that came with this thing, and it was terrible, and I wrecked the blade in like an hour. Got a little blade pack that has better blade. This is more of a nail cutting one, and it just does this. So this is these are little spacers that we put in here, just so that this baseboard has something to back onto.
Okay, so this is the finished project. Again, we went with the L shape. I wouldn't say that we are extremely handy, but handy enough to be able to handle something like this. We're definitely not carpenters, and we had to work with the tools that we had, or I should say my husband had to work with the tools that he had. He probably did this in about 2 days, maybe like what, a couple hours each day. It's actually pretty easy. I think the most difficult part was the top bunk. Just because it's, you know, doesn't leave a lot of space for you to be up there with a
just a little
circular saw
right at your feet if you want to show everyone.
To cut out this portion. But yeah, we really like it. We got the blue, which goes around. We're not going to put it on the bottom because that's going to be still used as a, I guess, single bed. But we will put some blue over there. These still need to be wrapped, and we'll put some hooks on them so we can hang things like, I don't know, towels, hats, whatever. And we're debating on if we want to put a cupboard down there. Not quite sure as of yet. But yeah, we like it. We're glad we did it. Our kids are now wondering where they're going to sleep, which is funny because they haven't slept up there for like a year. So yeah. But if you are debating on doing it, because you're worried it will be too much work, honestly, I would just go ahead and do it because it wasn't that bad.